Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Wanderlust Forever UAE Vlogger. Hope you all are doing well. And today we are going to visit the Scotch Whisky Experience in Edinburgh, Scotland. The Scotch Whisky Experience in Edinburgh is an engaging attraction that takes visitors on a journey through Scotland's whisky making heritage. It features an immersive ride explaining how whisky is made, interactive exhibits, and a viewing of one of the world's largest whisky collections. While it's primarily focused on adults, children are allowed to visit when accompanied by an adult. They receive a soft drink instead of whiskey during the tasting portion. So stay tuned and do watch the video till the end, and do check the description box for details. And if you're new to my channel, show some love by subscribing to the channel. Enjoy the video.
Come on in, my friends, come on in. Alarm, that's bad news. It means it's real. So just follow me or one of my colleagues to the exit. If we get separated, just head to the green fire exit sign and that will get you out to safety. Now we are heading up to our first floor. That's up 2 flights of stairs. If anyone needs to use the elevator, we can get that sorted for you. And finally, if you'd like to take any photographs, any videos today, you're more than welcome. I'm a tour guide, I love getting photographed. What I don't like is being blinded, so please just make sure the flash is off on your phone cameras. We're going to tell you everything there is to know about how you make our wonderful single malt Scotch whisky. Starting with just 3 basic ingredients of water, barley and yeast. We combine these ingredients together to make what can truly be considered as the spirit of Scotland.
I am born from Scotland. I begin life in the rains that fall across this land and fill its veins, coursing through burns and rivers, from a trickle to a torrent. I am a primal force as old as time.
Indeed you are. Now as the rains descend, that water will filter down through heather and peat and down through ancient granite, purifying the water, making it perfect for Scotch whisky. Or if you prefer, the old Scots Gaelic, Ush Beha, which literally translates to the water of life, aqua vitae in Latin. And in Scotland, our distilleries draw their water from rivers or streams or even these underground reservoirs we have all across the country. And we understand how important this water is to our production. In fact, I'm sure you've heard stories about Scotland that it rains here all the time. That's only partly true, and honestly, we don't mind. In fact, there's an old saying, today's rain makes tomorrow's whisky. We understand how important it is as it is used at every stage. It's an ingredient. It is used to cool and to clean our distilleries, and it is vital in creating our second ingredient as well, our barley. Here in the barley fields, during the spring, the seeds are planted, and throughout the year, they slowly change from green to this beautiful golden yellow. So by the time you get to autumn, it is perfect and ready to be harvested. Now once we harvest this barley, it's time to start production. And our first stage of production is known as the malting process to create our single malt Scotch whisky. We're not going to talk about malting in here. For that, we're going to be heading next door, where with a little help from Spit Whisky, we're going to learn exactly how one of our distilleries actually works. So if you can make sure you bring all of your belongings as we head on through into the next room, my friends. Come on in and grab a seat anywhere you like. Make yourselves comfortable, my friends. Please, there we are. And you come and grab a seat. You can choose from. But while each of these distilleries are unique, they all share one basic. They all share the same basic principles when it comes to making our whisky. With the help of my wee friends here today, we're going to show you exactly what this whisky making process is. Now, while we are not a distillery itself, we do have our very own virtual distillery here at the Scotch Whisky Experience. And as you can see from our distillery, it's completely different from all of the rest around the country. from the outside. On the inside, it follows the same basic floor plan as every other distillery. So with the help of the spirit, we're going to take you through each of these different rooms and show you what's happening at every stage of production. Take it away, spirit.
Making malt whiskey begins with a clever wee trick. The barley is fooled into growing by steeping it in water. Then spreading it out on the malting house floor to germinate. As it germinates, the barley generates heat. It must be turned frequently to ensure that germination is even. To stop it growing, the barley is dried with warm air in the malt kiln. Or over a peat fire if a smoky flavour is desired. By now, the germination process has unlocked the starch, which is required for the next stage. At the mill, the malted barley is ground into a coarse flour called grist. It's a very noisy process. When the grist is mixed with hot water, the starch turns into a sugary liquid called wort. This process happens in the mash tun. After mashing, the wort is cooled. Only now can another special ingredient be added: yeast. A violent reaction begins. The washback becomes a trembling, bubbling cauldron as wort and yeast collide in frenzied fermentation. The yeast greedily devours the sugar, creating alcohol. Eventually, the yeast dies off, but its work is done. A strong, beer-like liquid called wash is the result. The wash is now a step closer to becoming a single malt whiskey. Now the distillation process can begin. The liquid is heated in a pot still, and because alcohol boils at a lower temperature, it separates from the water. This alcoholic vapour rises up the neck, and as it cools, it condenses back into liquid. But it needs to be distilled again to further increase its alcohol content, and that takes place here in the spirit still. Each distillery has its own unique shape of copper pot still, another factor that ensures each whiskey will have its own unique flavour. This time, the spirit is transformed. It is now around 70%.
Okay, you come by friends, grab yourself a seat, take it where you like. Our oak casks are so important for this whiskey making process, and the job of making and repairing these casks fall to the coopers. Coopering is an ancient art here in Scotland, and it takes between 4 and 5 years to go from being an apprentice to a fully fledged master cooper. It's a hard craft, and it's the only part of our process that is not automated by machines. Now the reason we use oak in the process is because oak is strong, but it's also porous and allows our whiskey to breathe. Now we get our casks from 2 main places around the world. The first being the United States of America, and primarily from that great state of Kentucky, which is famous for bourbon making. These ex-bourbon casks can bring flavours of vanillas, toffees and caramels to our Scotch whisky. The other place we'll get our casks from is a little closer to home, Spain. And the south of Spain, the Jerez region, is famous for sherry making. like the Forth Railway Bridge, nicknamed the Gateway to the Highlands. Now, these lowland whiskies are typically quite light on the palate, bringing notes of toast, biscuits, oats. Grain whisky came into popularity in the 1830s thanks to Mr. Aeneas Coffey, an ex-Irish tax collector who patented and perfected the continuous style of distillation. He named his the coffee still. This meant you could use not only malted barley but other types of malted grain to make your whisky. You'll use that lowland or Speyside whisky. But if you want more complex and more robust flavours, you might use some Highland or Campbelltown. Now, my friends, if you like a smoky whisky, you can more than definitely use it in a blend. But be warned, smoky whisky must be used sparingly, as it can very quickly overpower a dram. The idea is,
it needs to be the right quality to absorb and display the beautiful colours in the artist's palette. In fact, any masterpiece is only as good as its canvas. It's the same with grain whisky. You may think it's only there in the background, but without it, there would be no great blend to enjoy.
tasting. Have any of you ever done a whiskey tasting before?
Yeah.
A couple of you? Yeah? Well, we're going to do it in 5 steps here. For step 1, we're going to look at the colour. The colour of the whiskey can tell you a lot about it before you've even tasted it. So say, for example, if that whiskey is more light and golden yellow, it's probably been matured in ex-bourbon casks. But if that whiskey is more dark and more amber in colour, it's probably been matured in those sherry casks. For step 2, we're going to give it a little swirl around. If you want to be extra fancy, stick a pinky out, you know you want to. Now, what that does is it creates a line of liquid around the top of the glass. Do you see that line appearing? We call that the whiskey line, or the whiskey's necklace. And then dribbling down off the line, you see the legs of the tears appear, these droplets. Now that tells us if we've got a full-bodied whiskey or a lighter-bodied whiskey. If those droplets run really fast down the glass, then you've got a lighter-bodied whiskey. You get some of those lighter flavours, like maybe a little bit of a shorter finish as well. But if those legs run really slowly down the glass, you'll get a more full-bodied flavour and a longer finish. 3, we're going to have a nose of the whiskey. Now, I would recommend, if this is your first whiskey of the day, do not just stick your nose in. Angeva basically means, in Old Scots Gaelic, to good health. So I'd like to welcome you here to our collection today, my friends. Slanjava!